Hello, my name is Krista Ellington, and today I'm going to try to persuade you to join the United States Air Force. In doing that, I'm going to talk to you about some of the benefits, education costs, and the insurance programs the Air Force has to offer. Unemployment is at 10.2%. It's at its highest since 1983. Just this past October, 15.7 million Americans were out of work. By joining the United States Air Force, you will always receive 2 paychecks a month, one on the 1st and one on the 15th. And not only will you receive those paychecks, you will also, as the time you're in service, the longer, the more rank you make, the more money you make. Right here I have a pay chart that just shows a little bit. Most people start out as an E1. This one goes all the way up to E9. This is enlisted. As an E1, you'll start out making roughly $1,400 a month. Just as an E9 with over 12 years in service, he's making $4,520 a month. That's just with over 12 years of service in. So as you see, as you make rank, and the longer you're in, the more money you end up making. Now this right here is your base pay. What I'm about to talk to you about now is your base allowance, housing allowance, and your food allowance. These are not included in your pay. This is extra. The first one is housing allowance. Housing allowance means, depending on what country you live in or what state you live in, depends on how much money they will allot you to pay for your housing, your rent, your utilities, or anything else that needs to be covered. With me, I'm an E5, been in with a little over 6 years. I'm single, so I get $830 a month for my rent. My rent is only $715 a month. The Air Force still gives me that money, and whatever's left over extra goes towards my utilities, or I just end up banking it, using it for gas money or what else I need. And the second thing I'm going to talk to you about is food allowance. The Air Force pays you roughly $300 a month for your food. It means to go to the grocery store and buy it. Like I said, you don't have to use that for food. If you use less, then you just get to keep the rest of the money. So right there, I've talked to you about base, housing allowance, and food allowance that you get extra money for. The third thing is clothing allowance. Once a year, you'll receive roughly $500 for clothing. It's about your military uniforms, boots, physical training uniforms. If you've already have new uniforms, you don't use all the rest of that money. You just get to keep it. Then you get a COLA allowance depending where you live out. If you live overseas, a COLA allowance is cost of living allowance. What this is it's just the difference between your base pay and the cost of living in that country. Most places, if the base pay is a lot less than the cost of living, they pay you the difference. It could be between $1,000 or more extra that you'll receive because of the cost of living. Then next, you get 30 days of paid vacation a year, 30 days off. If you don't want to use that 30 days at once, you don't have to. And if you want to sell it back to the Air Force, you can do that. So I've talked about some of the benefits. I'm going to talk to you about some of the education costs. The average cost to attend a 4-year college is roughly $30,000. The Air Force has 2 programs to assist you with college. While on active duty orders, they have the Air Force Tuition Assistance Program, which is 100% paid tuition. You don't have to pay for anything. Depending on your college, you might have to pay for books. But if you go through AMU, like I don't have to pay for any of my books or anything. If you do go through AMU and you can only take 6 classes before you're capped out for a year, which means the Air Force only pays $4,800 a year for your college. But if you use up all that money, there's also programs that can assist you with that. You have the Montgomery GI Bill and the Post 9/11. Both of these are money that you can use while on active duty orders or up to 10 to 15 years when you get out. Post 9/11 GI Bill is also good to be passed down to your spouse or your children. If paying for college education isn't expensive enough, did you know the average family pays $4,800 a year for health insurance and $500 a year per family member for life insurance? The Air Force pays 100% health care. It's free. You don't pay for anything. If you're a single active duty member, you don't pay for health care at all. That includes dental, your eye exam, physical health, anything like that, prescriptions. You don't have to pay anything. Now, if you do have a family, then you'll pay roughly between $50 to $200 a month, depending on how big your family is, for that same type of care. which is still not even close to what you pay on the outside. I mean, max would be $200 a month, and you'd be paying $500 for one person a month. So it's still a good thing. Also, with life insurance, they offer really low plans. I paid $20 a month for a $400,000 life insurance policy. So the Air Force has many benefits to offer you. So today I've talked to you about some of the benefits, such as your salary you receive, your housing allowance, food allowance, COLA, your 30 days of leave. Also, I talked to you about your education costs, the Air Force Tuition Assistance Program, the Montgomery and post 9/11 GI Bills, as well as health care and life insurance. Thank you.